तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः.
Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapam Shravanamangalam Shrimadatatam Bhuigrunantiye Bhuridajana. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and we are in the conversations of 5th October 1884 and the page mark here. And the Hazara topic is over now. And we'll go back a little. Thakur is conversing with two sadhus. That will pick up from the beginning. English page 592. Bengali 621. द्वितीय परिच्छेद ठाकुर श्री रामकृष्ण साधुदेव संगे ठाकुरेर परमांश अवस्था. So in English we pick up from two monks had arrived at the temple garden in the morning. They were devoted to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedanta and other scriptures. They entered the master's room, saluted him and sat on the mat on the floor. Sri Ramakrishna was seated on the small couch. The master to the sadhus in Hindustani. I told it is Hindi. Master, have you had your meal? Sadhu, yes sir. So that's more of a courtesy or loving call. Master, what did you eat? Sadhu, dal and roti. Will you take some? That is love from their side. Master, no, I take only a few morsels of rice. Well, your japa and meditation must be without any desire for results. Isn't that so? Sadhu, yes sir. So they are finding synchrony, correspondence between both the parties, Thakur on one side and the sadhus on the other side. Master, that is good. One must surrender the results to God. What do you say? That is the view of the Gita. One sadhu said to the other, quoting from the Gita, that is the 9th chapter, 26th shloka. Oh Arjuna, whatever action you perform, whatever you eat, whatever you offer in sacrifice, whatever you give in charity, and whatever austerities you practice, offer everything to me. That means your doership, you transfer to me. So he has got the spirit when Thakur said, one must surrender the result to God, and that is the opinion of the Gita. So he knew that, and he has told the other sadhu about that shloka. To one of the sadhus, Thakur, if you give God something, you receive it back in 1,000 times over. So this is something we have not heard in other places, but Thakur is definite about it. That is why after doing meritorious deeds, one offers a handful of water to God. That means जलेर गंडूश अर्पण कृष्णे फल समर्पण. So, what is the significance? Whatever you give to God, it comes back 1,000 times to you. And that, he says, therefore, when you do everything, the fruits of your work you give to God. So you will get the results of good fruits 1,000 times. Now that does not mean that you have to do bad things to God. It is the symbol of offering the fruit to God. When Yudhishthira was about to offer all his sins to Krishna, Bhima warned him, never do such a thing. Whatever you offer to Krishna, you will receive back 1,000-fold. But here, let me make some comments that the avatar is an incarnation of God, and his associates who take up the position of God there, they ask the devotees to give up all their sins to them, and that does not go 1,000-fold to them. They eat up, they assimilate the sins of the devotees, and they suffer physically for that. But this is a clear exception. If you give something to God bad, Yudhishthira's example is all right. But we have total contradiction of this in Thakur's life and in the lives of his disciples. Several examples. There was so many sinners. Of course, there is a difference that they did not give. Thakur took up. Thakur took up the sins of many, many, many people, and he suffered physically for them. They did not get 1,000 times the fruit of their sins. They got liberated. Now I come to another example. There was an actress in Girish's troupe, Tara Sundari by name, and she was acting as Ramanuj, and Brahman Swami and others had gone to witness that drama. And Girish Babu introduced all the actors, actresses in the beginning of the drama to salute to Brahman Swamiji, ask for his blessings. This Tarasundari also did the same, but she felt a special attraction and shraddha for Brahman Swami. So before every act, she started coming to Brahman Swamiji repeatedly and telling in just what she has to act. She is asked blessings for that performance. And Brahman Swamiji is blessing her every time. Then came the most difficult act of Ramanuja's Vairagya. And Ramanuja is leaving the house and going to the forest. Tarasundari told the gist and said, Maharaj, this is the most difficult piece of acting. Please bless me that I should be able to act Ramanuja's Vairagyam correctly. Brahman Swamiji in a divine mood said, you will act very correctly and you will get renunciation, Vairagyam also. That to have effect took some time. And when Tarasundari finally got Vairagyam, Brahman Swamiji was not in his body. Mahapurushji was the president of the order and Tarasundari got Vairagyam. So she came repentantly to Belur Math and could not dare to enter. She stopped at the gate and was weeping there, crying. And Mahapuruji on his side is telling his sevaks, please find somebody has come to receive Diksha. So they go here and there, nobody, Mahapurush Maharaj say, go, surely somebody has come. So they go up to the gate and see Tarasundari weeping there. And they report to Mahapurush Maharaj. Mahapurush Maharaj says, call her to my room. So they called Tarasundari. Then Tarasundari said, Maharaj, what should I do now? Mahapuruji said, Brahman Swamiji has blessed you, and that is why you have got this Vairagya. I will give you, because he is not present in the bodily form, I will give you Mantra Diksha. And before giving Mantra Diksha, she was terribly afraid of the sins done by her. Being an actress or even a prostitute. Mahapurush Maharaj told, take some water in your hand and whatever sins you have done in this life and past lives, offer it here on my feet. He did not utter the word on my feet, he showed here. And Tarasundari did like that. So here, Tarasundari did not give, but Mahapurush Maharaj asked her to. And then he told her, now totally dissociate yourself with the profession of acting. When you have got Vairagyam, go to Bhuvaneshwar. Raja Maharaj, Brahman Swamiji liked Bhuvaneshwar very much. So you go there. And Bhuvaneshwar was a forest in those days. Now the Bhuvaneshwar, because of airport, that is called modern Bhuvaneshwar. Previously, 108 Shiva temples and forest. The houses of the pujaris and associated staff and Ramakrishna Math within that forest. There was nothing else in Bhuvaneshwar. So you go to Bhuvaneshwar in the forest, select some spot and construct a house there and live there. So she followed and she named that house as Rakhal Kunja because Brahman Swamiji's name was Rakhal. And there started living. So here Thakur is telling that one should not give bad things to God because you receive it 1,000-fold back. And he has cited the example of Yudhishthira trying to give his sins to Krishna and Bhima stopping. And yet we see in Thakur's own life and the life of his disciples, this. So it's special about avatar. But Krishna was also an avatar. Perhaps the rule has changed in Thakur's time. Because many things have changed. Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Now, Paritranaya sadhunam is all right. Dharma sansthapanartha is all right. But from Buddha incarnation onwards, Buddha, Jesus, Chaitanya, they have not destroyed, killed any asuras, duscharitra people. What they have done is stated beautifully by Harshananji in the stotra written for Thakur. Dushtasya buddhe parivartanaya. They change the ideas in the mind of the dushta. So we have several stories for that. Black and coming, black and coming. Now, I will start from Buddha. Buddha was about to enter a forest. And people told him, don't go there. The dacoit Angulimal lives there. He says, what is that? He is also a man. I am also a man. He does not ask what you possess. He first kills you and chops your fingers and puts that in a garland. That is why it's called Angulimal. Buddha said, I don't fear. And when he entered, Angulimal was shocked. How a man knowingly comes to my forest? He said, don't you know who am I? You are a man. I am also a man. And Angulimal, in spite of his challenge, Buddha did not succumb at all. Angulimal got changed. And he surrendered to Bhagavan Buddha and became a changed person. In Jesus, we see he is pardoning everybody. There is the case of that one fallen woman. People had tied her to the tree and they were going to stone her. And Jesus went there and said, one condition, those who have not done any mistake in life, they should put the first stone. The crowd disappeared. And Jesus released that woman and said, Mother, go to your home. Don't sin again. That's all. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see the ruffian Jagai and Madai hitting his associate Nityananda to the point of bleeding, and yet Nityananda embraced them, said, you have hit me, but let us take God's name. That melted them, and they became devotees. In Sri Ramakrishna, we saw many sinners, Thakur accepting their sin. He has not killed anybody. He has changed the course of all his sinning devotees. And made them free. So the style has been changed. And this is followed by his disciples. All of them have said about their own physical suffering that we have not done anything wrong. Why we should suffer? It is because we have taken up other sins that we are suffering. Let them go free. So this is a tremendous departure. and they change the course of their thought and life. So, this is something. One of the sadhus, well, sir, one should be desireless. One should renounce all desires. Isn't that so? Sadhu, yes, sir. Because yada sarve pramuchante kama yasri dishkrita, everywhere the scriptures tell about it. So, yes, sir. But Sri Ramakrishna says, but I have the desire for bhakti. That is not bad. Rather, it is good. How to understand this? It is very simple actually. The word desire should not delude us. Thakur is giving examples afterwards. The word is desire. People tell us also, you say you are going to fall desire, you have desire to realize God. So you also have desire. And that is what Thakur is telling. I had bhakti kamana, I had the desire for love of God. Love of God is sure to lead one to mukti. Or even after mukti, love of God is anti-desire, though the name is desire. This one should understand. And that is what Thakur is pointing out. That one should give up all desires. Yes, but I have desire for bhakti. And then he gives the examples. Sweets are bad, for they produce acidity. But sugar candy is an exception. Isn't that so? So sugar candy also is a sweet. But instead of producing acidity, it is a curbing acidity. So similar to sound, but opposite in effect. So to make this point clear, Thakur has taken up this topic. Clear? Next. Sadhu, yes, sir. Isn't that so? Sadhu says, yes, sir. He has immediately understood this point. They seem to be good sadhus. So on every point they are conquering with Sri Ramakrishna. Now, Master, well, sir, what do you think of the Vedanta? Important, very important thing is coming now. Sadhu, it includes all the 6 systems of philosophy. Now understand this. How Vedanta will include 6 systems of philosophy?
It harmonizes.
And the sadhus are good sadhus. So this point I want to explain. Go to any traditional Vedanta ashrama rakhada and they say, to understand Vedanta, you must understand Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Sankhya, Yoga and Mimamsa. Then only you can understand Vedanta. And that is how Vedanta is taught in all those places. So you understand? They are traditional sadhus, good sadhus. So to their mind, to study Vedanta, one requires to study the 6 systems of philosophy. Now only it will become clear. Vedanta itself will not include the six systems, not at all. It refutes them, fulfills them, but does not include them. But Sadhu is telling Vedanta includes our systems of philosophy is because of the traditional method of teaching Vedanta. We have to study one after the other. Even the Vedantists have written books like Sarvadarshana Sangra, explaining all the philosophies in a particular order, so that by understanding this, you understand that. Understood? So this is an important point, but that may be the traditional method. But my teachers have told me, if you go through Sankhya to Vedanta, the rut of Sankhya philosophy will be on your mind. On the other hand, to understand Vedanta, you do not require to know any other philosophy. You have to have a simple and pure mind. Any person who is having a simple and pure mind can understand Vedanta. And rather, if you understand Vedanta clearly, you can understand all systems. So, if you understand Vedanta, what are the systems of philosophy? You have any idea?
Sankhya Yoga, Vaisheshika.
According to your level of mind, you construct a philosophy. Because you want to appear to yourself and others as rational. So even below this system is the lokayatika. So you construct a philosophy. Then your own experience, normal man's experience, and you philosophize them, that becomes Nyaya and Vaisheshika. You grow a little higher, and then comes Sankhya and Yoga. You believe fully in the Vedas, the Karmakanda portion, so comes Mimamsa. And then, so the six systems of philosophy to understand means through Vedanta to understand that state of the mind from which this philosophy has come. That is how we learn from our gurus. Okay? So, the sadhus are telling according to the tradition, it is not wrong. But because that is the tradition. And that is the tradition because Vedanta is taken up as something intellectual, rational and all. Now, if Vedanta is a science of experience, then you have to go through your pure and simple mind. And remember here something. Revered Tapasyananda Maharaj, in one of his lectures at Nagpur, in the annual function, had said, people say that Upanishads are difficult to understand. This difficulty is not like mathematical or philosophical difficulty. It only means people lack purity. So the difficulty of understanding Vedanta is because people are not sufficiently pure. If you are pure enough, you can understand Vedanta. And that is what we have learned. Okay? So this topic is completely analyzed. That is why I had stopped yesterday, because these require deliberations. Both the points. Master, but Huh? Thakur has said, but here. That means he has not agreed that they include all six systems of philosophy. But the essence of Vedanta is Brahman alone is real and the world illusory. So here is six systems of philosophy. It is as simple as that. And Thakur has told in other place to understand, to conceive that world is illusory in all the three types, past, present and future, requires a lot of tapasya, not the knowledge of other philosophy. So purify yourself and you'll understand that. I have no separate existence. Beautiful, huh? First time I am meeting this. You see, Shankar says, or someone says, you know that Shloka Dhena Pravakshami Yaduktam Grantha Kotivi Brahma Satyam Jagad Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. And Thakur never required the Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. If everything is unreal, Brahman is all this, then Brahman is Jiva automatically. Here he has added that in a different way. Instead of saying Jiva is Brahman, he is saying, I have no separate existence. Two differences. Jiva is a general statement. I is the particular statement. And instead of saying I am Brahman, he tells that. Before that, we should understand I have no existence, separate. So, I am that Brahman alone. So, Thakur has put one step in between. First, he has changed that Jiva to I, direct. And I have no existence other than Brahman. So I am Brahman. Beautiful. Isn't that so? Sadhu, that is true, sir. So therefore, Thakur's point. They said traditionally it is not like that. But when Thakur told them, they said, yes, that is true, sir. Now, the other side. Master, but for those who lead a householder's life and those who identify themselves with the body, this attitude of I am he is not good. Avyaktai gatir dukkham deva virva. Two things. Those are householders. Meaning, they have sexual desires and attachment. And that is due to their identification with the body. Remember, the sannyasis should not have identification with the body. How? Firstly, during the Viraja home which we do for sannyas, we tell that I am not the body. I am the Chidavas. That's all. Secondly, my Guruji told me, now it is the color gerua, which traditionally people used to do with gerua mud. What is that color? Even today you can feel like that. It is the color of the chita on which the body is burning.
Oh,
Right.
the flames of fire.
Flames
Flames of fire.
Where the body is burning. Because fire becomes blue, black according to the things are burning. That means these clothes remind them continuously that you are not the body. Body is perishable, body will end, will be like this. You are not the body. So this is the difference between sannyasi and householder. This attitude of I am is not good. It is not good for householders to read Vedanta or the Yoga Vashishta. Now here also one can add exceptions are there. In Thakur's case, that Ramakrishna was also, and he used to discuss Vedanta with Thakur, and Thakur did not say no. Understood? So exceptions are there, but that is the general rule. Or the Yoga Vashishta. It is again a book of Vedanta. No, Vedanta or the Yoga Vashishta. What does it mean? Vedanta means end of Vedas, that means the Upanishads. And Yoga Vashishta is not an Upanishad, but it is a book on Vedanta. Every word has an importance, no? It is very harmful for them to read these books. Buddhi way. Householders should look on God as their master and on themselves as his servant. This is the best attitude, though there are several bhavas, but this is the easy attitude. They should think, oh God, you are the master and the Lord, and I am your servant. Why? People who identify themselves with the body should not have the attitude of I am he. Because bodily you can never be he. The devotees in the room remained silent. So all became introspective on that point. Sri Ramakrishna was smiling a little, a picture of self-contentment. He appeared happy in his own self. And the sadhus are good sadhus. He immediately understood that. One of the sadhus whispered in the other's ear, look, this is the state of the Paramahansa. Master to him, I feel like laughing. Because after all this stuff, Thakur is like a child. Sri Ramakrishna smiled like a child. The monks left the room. That this topic with the two devotees sadhus is over. Many beautiful points we got there. Navin Sen is Keshav Chandra Sen's elder brother, and Thakur had gone there. Invited by Keshav's mother. Yes, sir. I listened to the songs from downstairs. So, not to interrupt Thakur's things, he had not gone inside. From outside, he was listening to what he was doing. Especially the songs, because the voice is loved. One is exhausted already. It has taken a longer time.
तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः.
Due to some technical problem, it had to be restarted. I hope you are all there. Okay. So I continue. Did you go to Navin Sen's house? M. Yes, sir. I listened to the songs from downstairs, not to disturb the meeting. Master, that was well done. Your wife was there. She is a cousin of Keshav Sen, isn't she? She was already in the audience. So if Master Master come, the scene would have been different. They would have felt ashamed. M. A distant cousin. Sri Ramakrishna strolled up and down with him. No one else was with them. So, they are talking personally now. Master, a man visits his father-in-law's house. I too often used to think that I should marry, go to my father-in-law's house and have great fun. But see what has come of it. So what Thakur is trying to tell? He has not deliberately done like that. His mind has taken that turn. And this is the way sadhu should be. M. Sir, you say, if the boy holds his father's hand, he may slip. But he doesn't if the father holds his hand. So Master has understood the inner spirit. God has willed you to be like that. That is exactly your condition. The mother has taken hold of your hand. Master, I met Vaman Das at the Vishwasa's house. Some person, huh? Vishwasa's house means Mahendranāth's house. I said to him, I have come to see you. I was leaving the place, I heard him say, goodness gracious, the Divine Mother has caught hold of him like a tiger seizing a man. At that time, I was a young man, very stout and always in ecstasy. Sir, you understood this point? Master said, Mother has heard you. Thakur said some other people also have seen that. Now he comes to the problem of householders and his attitude. I am very much afraid of women. That is not a fact from all sides. Huh? He had women devotees also. But he is telling of the days when he was a sadhu. When I look at one, I feel as if a tigress were coming to devour me. Besides, I find that their bodies, their limbs, and even their pores are very large. Let us not discuss this. Huh? This makes me look upon them as she-monsters. I used to be much more afraid of women than I am at present. That means sadhak, during sadhak. I wouldn't allow one to come near me. Now I persuade my mind to in various ways to look upon women as forms of the blissful mother. So that changed everything. In the beginning, yeah. Then illumination. That all are forms of the Divine Mother. And he has to tell his mind again and again to have that consciousness. That is all a model for the sadhaks. A woman is no doubt a part of the Divine Mother. But as far as a man is concerned, especially a sannyasi or a devotee of God, she is to be shunned. I don't allow a woman to sit near me very long, no matter how great her devotion may be. This has been well explained in the Great Master. The women are themselves saying that he never felt shy. There is an incident that 3 ladies went to meet him. They sat on the floor. Thakur was on the cot. He came and said, almost rubbing against one of the women. And then she slided slightly to be away. He said, why you are afraid? Why you are having contraction? Why you are feeling shame, modesty? Then he says, touching his own beard, it is due to this, isn't it? And she says that we are still living. People should not say that he hated women or did not allow it. But of course, he did not like women to sit near him for long. And then she adds, we have seen this with men also. Meaning is that due to Thakur's influence, they lose their sex consciousness. But their sanskaras are there. So after some time that comes up, that should not come up. And he used to talk like that to men also. That means men also will come to their body consciousness. That is what should happen. So things are very clear. He is telling more about his past and present. He says he knows that all are mothers, and for a sannyasi or a devotee sadhak, he should be awake. And he says about himself that I do not allow them to sit with me for longer time because their body consciousness should not come up. I think everything is clear. He is not hating women. After a little while, I said to her, go and see the temples. Even to the men he is telling that we met that. That means they can't sustain this spirituality for longer time. If that doesn't make her move, I myself leave the room on the pretext of smoking. Understood? Man and woman together for a long time is prone to bring the body consciousness. I find that some men are not at all interested in women. Niranjan says, a woman never enters my thought. I asked Hari about it. Here, Hari is Swami Turiyananda.
No.
Huh?
In Bengali, it is written Upen doctor's brother. In Bengali,
Hari, doctor's brother. Turiyan Swami's brother might have been a doctor. Because he is not that Mukherjee Hari, he is a married person. He too says that his mind does not dwell on woman. Woman monopolizes 3/4 of the mind which should be given to God. So he is telling about a normal household. And then after the birth of a child, almost the whole mind is frittered away on the family. householders life. 3/4 given to wife, 1/4 given to children. Then what is left is due to God? Again, there are some men who shed their last drop of blood, as it were, to keep their wives out of mischief. I tell a funny story. In Solan, on the way from Chandigarh to Shimla, we had a law case in Shimla court, and our pleader was a devotee. And then when I went to his house, he himself served me breakfast. And then he said, you might be wondering why the lady of the house is not there. I sent her to the school. She is a teacher. So that less nuisance in the house. For that he has made her a teacher. So different attitudes, huh? Who shed their last drop of blood, as it were, to keep their wives out of mischief. There is the gatekeeper, an old man. He is seeing people whose wife is only 14 years old. She had to live with him. They lived in a thatched hut with walls made of dry leaves. People made holes in the wall to peep in because she is too young. Now she has left him and run away. I know another man. He doesn't know where to keep his wife. There was some trouble at home, and now he is greatly worried. Let's not talk about these things anymore. So, yes, mind has come away from that. If a man lives with a woman, he cannot help coming under her control. Worldly men get up and sit down at the bidding of women. They all speak highly of their wives. No, he's telling about himself. Huh? Once I wanted to go to a certain place. I asked Ramlal's aunt about it. Ramlal is a nephew. He doesn't directly say my wife. Ramlal's aunt about it. She forbade me to go, so I could not. Thakur is a very funny man, very funny. A little while later, I said to myself, I am not a householder. I renounce woman and God. If in spite of that, this is my plight, one can well imagine how much worldly people are controlled by their wives. To learn that only in this incident. No more humorous man than Thakur. M. Huh? Now this is, we have forgotten. Huh? This is talk privately with M. Huh? Isn't it? Yes. Huh?
Others went out to the Badanda. Others went out to Poch.
Sadhus went out.
Sadhus and then other devotees also.
The devotees were moving about. Oh, this is not that. Huh? M. One who lives in the midst of woman and God can't help being strained by it, even if only slightly. You told us about Jayanarayan. He was such a great scholar. When you visited him, he was an old man. You found him warming pillows and blankets in the sun as slaves to the wives. Master, but he had no vanity of scholarship. So, seeing the good of every man, spiritually good. Huh? Further, what he said about the last days of his life came to pass. He spent them in Banaras, following the injunction of the scriptures. I saw his children. They were wearing high boots and had been educated in English school. So, very rich man. But he went to Kashi, in spite of all that. By means of questions and answers, Sri Ramakrishna now explained to him his own exalted state. Master, at first I went stark mad. Why I am less so now? But I get into that state now and then. Why is asking? But again that state is there. You don't have just one mood. As you said, you experience various moods. Sometimes you are like a child, sometimes like a madman, sometimes like an inert thing, and sometimes like a girl, and now and then you are a natural person. Master, yes, like a child, but also experience the mood of a boy and a young man. You understand this? Child, little growth, adolescent, and then young. And
Child, boy, and young.
boy means adolescent and young man. He is describing certain things. All spiritual. When I give instruction, I feel like a young man. Then there is my boyishness. Like a boy 12 or 13 years old, I want to be frivolous. That is why I joke and make merry with the youngsters. So, it is Thakur in various moods. What do you think of Narayan? I think we stop here. We'll come back tomorrow. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavividitam Kalmashapaham Shravanam Mangalam Srimadattatam Bhuigrunanti Ye Bhurida Jana Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. That thing should come not to end. Yes.